The beans climb the corn stalks, the squash leaves shade the soil, limiting weed growth, and the beans fix nitrogen into the soil as well as helping to stabilise the corn stalks. So it's a circular process. Think of it like the circle of life. And while that's doing, I'm going to cut and chop this small winter squash. This is one of our homegrown organic squashes. I have washed the skin thoroughly because you can cook it with the skin on. It's similar to a butternut squash. You can add zucchini, which is also a type of squash. I suppose if you don't have anything like that, you could also use pumpkin. There we go, doesn't that look yummy? Grand day rising everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a historical recipe, and this one is also from a strong and very proud culture. This stew is easy to make and it's delicious. It's also highly nutritious. It contains no meat or any animal products and is therefore suitable even for vegans. The three sisters are corn, beans and squash, which have been planted together for centuries by native peoples and have spiritual significance for some. In New Mexico, it's often said that a healthy environment means a healthy culture. Here we might call it "you are what you eat." And this leads to healthy people. And the way these vegetables grow in the garden exemplifies this notion of interconnectedness. There are a number of tribes in New Mexico, and these include the Pueblos, the Jicarilla Apache Nation, the Mescalero Apache tribe, and parts of the Navajo Nation. The beans climb the corn stalks, the squash leaves shade the soil, limiting weed growth, and the beans fix nitrogen into the soil as well as helping to stabilise the corn stalks. So it's a circular process. Think of it like the circle of life. This stew might be perfect for a cold winter's day, but it can also be eaten all year round. But it's there to provide warmth, comfort, sustenance and nutrition. Especially historically, you might not have always had access to meat, and at one time you would have probably had to catch your animals for meat. It wouldn't have been available, say, on a supermarket shelf or anything like that. It's also lovely the next day as well, when all the spices and flavours will have had time to intensify. This recipe is taken from a website. It's part of, there's a movement to revitalise Indigenous cuisines and knowledge. Here's why that matters. This recipe is by Lois Ellen Frank, PhD. It was published in November 2022. It was reviewed by dietitian Emily Lachtrup, MSRD. I think, though, it is probably fair to say that every tribe would have had their own variation. It depends on what types of squash, for example, they might be able to grow, or indeed what beans and corn, because there are different varieties of everything, they were also able to grow. This is my take on the recipe. The recipe says 8 servings. I'm going to make it probably for 3 or 4 because there's only 2 of us in this household. It's diabetes friendly, nut-free, dairy-free, soy-free, heart-healthy, vegan, vegetarian, egg-free and gluten-free. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is peel and finely chop this medium onion. I've washed the onion. Don't forget to wash all your fruit and vegetables. And now I'm going to heat a tablespoon of sunflower oil in a pan over a medium heat, and we'll pop the onion in once it's heated up nicely. As you can see, I've finely chopped a couple of cloves of garlic, and I'm also going to add that to the pan. I'll stir it round for about 30 seconds or so and then remove the pan from the heat. You see the garlic and onions are getting lovely and translucent. That's about how we want it. Now, I don't have green bell pepper, but I have a piece of red bell pepper. Ideally, I would have half a bell pepper, but I don't quite have that. So I'm also going to add this piece of celery. I'll chop it finely. Just remove the ends and chop. I'm going to chop it lengthways and then across. You can also use a yellow bell pepper, or you could even use one of the lovely long peppers. Just use whatever you have. I'm going to put the pan back on the heat and add these now. You want to cook this out for about 2 or 3 minutes. So while that's doing, I'm going to cut and chop this small winter squash. This is one of our homegrown organic squashes. I have washed the skin thoroughly because you can cook it with the skin on. It's similar to a butternut squash. You can add zucchini, which is also a type of squash. I suppose if you don't have anything like that, you could also use pumpkin. They're all part of the same family. Some people might choose to use sweet potato, but remember that sweet potato is not a squash, so that isn't perhaps as authentic as a squash. However, if you prefer sweet potatoes to squash, you could do it, but just be aware that that isn't authentic. Now, we've done really well this year with our winter squash, and I've actually dried quite a lot of seeds, and I'm going to be selling them at the next car boot that we do, and the money for whatever we've been selling is going towards next year's seeds. Just into say 1 centimetre pieces. Be very careful how you do this. If you're not confident about cutting squash, you could roast it whole in the oven for about 40 minutes until it's al dente, and then open it up and remove the seeds. and add it later on during the cooking time, the stew. There we go. And now this gets added to the pan. We soon want to add about half a can of these Italian chopped tomatoes with juice. Now if you're using zucchini, which is what the recipe I'm going by uses, for 8 people you'd want 3 medium zucchini. So if we say 3 or 4 of you could use maybe 1.5. She also dices her zucchini, whereas I've just chopped my squash into 1 centimetre pieces. I do like that extra texture. I think that zucchini often goes very, very soft, and I prefer the bites that you're going to get from a winter squash or a butternut squash, and that's why I prefer mine chopped into small chunks, because you've got that little bit of bite. I have a thing about texture, so if something's very mushy I can't eat it. But you do yours however you like. The squash has had a couple of minutes and it's starting to soften slightly, so in now with the tomatoes. You want to give that about 4 minutes now, just until it starts to simmer. I have here a corn on the cob. I'm just going to remove the corn. I would say if you are cooking for more, you'd want 2 of these. You see, that's made a lot. That's more than enough. I also have a bean mixture. These were dried and I cooked them for probably about an hour after soaking for 12 hours. They're breaking up a little bit, but that's probably better because you've got to be very careful with kidney beans, especially because they can be toxic if not properly cooked through. There's 3 different varieties here. The recipe I'm going by uses kidney beans and pinto beans. There's kidney beans in here, pinto beans and black turtle beans. I'm going to chuck these in now and add 2 cups of water. There we go, doesn't that look yummy? So healthful. I'm now going to add a good teaspoon of dried mixed herbs. I'm also going to add about a tablespoon or so of hot chili powder. I do not have mild chili powder. And I will add a pinch of sumac and then some salt and pepper, and then this will get transferred to my slow cooker, which is heating on high. And here we are. This will be cooked on high for about an hour and then I'll switch it down to low. The Three Sisters stew is now ready. It's had several hours just cooking away on a low heat. I added some coriander as well to it. I had no parsley. We're having some basmati rice with it. So here we are. Come and take a look at this. Doesn't that look good? It smells really nice. I will tell you now, it's quite hot because I only had hot chili powder and I added 2 teaspoons. The recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of mild chili powder. So I thought that maybe 2 teaspoons of hot chili powder would suffice. Dan's made some raita. It is quite spicy. So let's give Dan some of this and he can taste it and give me his verdict. It's got lots of lovely things in. It smells really good. You don't need meat when you've got a delicious stew like this. So Dan can now give this a try. So Dan, let me know what you think of that.
It's really nice. Got a delayed heat to it. I can see the sweet corn in it. It's got beans in it.
Yes.
Squash.
Yes, those are the 3 sisters.
And there's the squash, yes, lovely.
So it's 3 sisters stew, and that is an Indigenous American recipe, popular especially in New Mexico, loved by various tribes. And it's a very old recipe and it's very traditional. Is it hot enough for you?
It's perfect.
What kind of score would you give me?
Oh, 4 marks for that. It's really nice.
You're enjoying it?
Oh, yeah, very much. Yumbo jumbo.
Oh, thanks, babe. So there we are then. That's 3 sisters stew. If you enjoyed this recipe, please do give it a like. Please comment. Have you made this before? Do you know other recipes that were popular among Indigenous tribes? Let me know down in the comments and maybe I can vlog 1 or 2 of them. Please share, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding 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 ding, and I'll see you again soon for the next one. Until then, bye for now.